Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have discussed about the different types of diseases which are caused by the pathogens, means the disease causing germs. There do we have discussed certain bacterial diseases, viral diseases, protozoan diseases, as well as fungal diseases. We have also discussed how we can prevent the diseases as well as the preventive measures of the diseases. Today, we'll discuss about the most important aspect, which is food preservation, which do we observe, which do we practice at our homes also in our day-to-day life. So let us first of all try to understand what do we mean by food preservation. As we know, we all are surrounded by microbes everywhere, whether we are at home, whether we are in the market, whether we are in the school campus, or whether we are anywhere in the playground, we are always surrounded by those microbes. So just like whatever the food particles or the food items that do we have at our homes or anywhere in the market, in the shop, obviously they are also exposed to these different types of microbes which may cause harmful effects upon them, causing them to lose their taste, their quality, as well as the nutritive value and its quantity. So we'll try to understand what is food preservation. So the food preservation, it is the process in which we treat the food items and handle the food so as to stop or greatly slow down and spoilage. Maybe the spoilage may be loss of quality or its edibility or nutritive value which are caused by those microorganisms. So by doing the process, we may try to preserve the food for longer duration, for somehow much more duration, due to which it can be consumed and it can be available for longer duration of time to different peoples. So preservation, it usually involves the preventing the growth of bacteria. So there are certain types of bacteria, certain groups of fungi and other microbes which they grow upon the food items and they causes the deterioration of the quality of the product, as well as it also involves the retarding the oxidation of the fats which causes the rancidity. So this rancidity means disagreeable odor, means the taste, the smell of the particular fat product, it changes, it deteriorates, and it is not fit for human consumption. So this rancidity is caused due to that the oxidation of the fats by the certain groups of microbes, and this can be also prevented by doing or undergoing through the food preservation technique. So there are so many different types of methods of food preservation through which we are able to preserve the food for longer duration so that it can be easily available to different localities, different persons as and when required. So now we'll go through the methods of food preservation. So there are so many methods that do we adopt in our day-to-day life to prevent the food. The first, which is the most commonest method, which is drying. It is an age-old practice, but it helps to do that whenever we dry the food product, for example the cereals or grains, it helps to reduce the water content present within them, and thus thereby it helps to prevent or delays the growth of the bacterial growth as well as the fungal growth. So It also helps to reduce the weight of the food product, as well as it makes it more portable, means it can be easily transported from one place to the other place, and it can be easily stored within the jars. So we observe the drying method, which is the commonest method in our day-to-day life, through which we try to prevent the food from spoilage. For example, in the case of cereals and grains, we adopt the drying method of food preservation. As we may observe, by sun drying these grains, these cereals, we may easily try to reduce the water content within the grains, and it can be kept for longer duration. It can be prevented from the growth of microbes like bacterial growth or fungal growth, and it can be easily available for longer duration. This is the most commonest method, which is sun drying. Now the second method, by using sugar and salt. So by using sugar and salt, it also helps to reduce the water content and make it unavailable for the growth of microorganisms. For example, in pickles, which we all are fond of eating, what is the common method of preservation for pickles? That we use either sugar or salt or jaggery. So what is the reason behind that? Whenever sugar or salt is added, it lets to extract out the water from the food product and make it available for longer duration. For example, we might observed, whenever we add salt upon the salads, whatever we have made the salad, and whenever we add salt, we observe very readily the salt, it extracts out the water from the cut pieces of that cucumbers, carrots, or maybe that tomatoes, and like that these items. So just the same way, as we add sugar or salt, it increases the concentration of the solute, and due to which the water, whatever the content of water is present within the food item, it let it to extract out. So this is the commonest method which we use in the pickles for preserving it for longer duration. As well as we also observe in the case of jams, jellies, they are also preserved by using these sugars and salts. Now the third method, which is preservation by using acetic acid. So this acetic acid, which is also called as vinegar, it is also used to stop the growth of microorganisms, and it is mostly used in the pickles, which are most commonly sold in the markets. And due to the use of these acetic acids, it does not let the microbes to grow upon them. As well as there are certain more other products like that, these citric acids, phosphoric acids, they are also used in carbonated beverages of fruit drinks for the preservation purpose also, as well as for the flavoring of the product. Now we will discuss the fourth method, which is preservation using certain chemical preservatives. There are certain chemical preservatives which are used to preserve the food products. For example, sodium benzoate, as well as potassium metabisulfite, etc. are the chemicals which are used for the preservation method. For example, in the case of jams, jellies, pickles, etc. Now the fifth method, which is the heat and cold treatment. So we may observe that some food items like milk, they are frequently boiled before their use, and also whenever they are stored within the refrigerator. So we mostly do the heat and cold treatment process for destroying, or we can say for killing the microbes, so that it can be available for longer duration, as well as in the case of fishes also, do we keep it in as cold condition inside the refrigerator for longer duration, or other items. Now the sixth step, which is pasteurization, which is the most important technique. What is pasteurization? It is the process in which pressurized heating is done for a certain short time, and it can be considered as a mild form of heat treatment. The temperature which is maintained during pasteurization is below 100 degrees Celsius. So, most commonly, milk which is pasteurized to keep it for longer duration. So, what happens whenever the pasteurization is done, when the milk is boiled, what it helps to do, whatever the bacteria, heat resistant bacteria may be present, they may be still able to survive there. But the bacteria, the microbes which are cold resistant, they will die off simply due to so much high temperature. Because they are cold resistant, they cannot survive in that higher temperature, and whereas the heat resistant microbes which are able to tolerate heat, they may be able to survive in such condition. So when the milk is cooled down through the process, within the process of pasteurization, what it causes, the heat resistant bacteria which were still may be surviving, they will simply die out due to the temperature which has been lowered down up to so much level, due to which they will not be able to tolerate the low temperature. So through this method, we store and we preserve the milk, which is the common method for preserving the milk, which is pasteurization. It was discovered by the scientist named Louis Pasteur. So on the basis of his name, the technique has been named pasteurization technique. Now the seventh method, which is vacuum packing, means storing food in a vacuum environment, or we may say airtight bag or bottle in which the food product is stored. So what it causes, whenever the vacuum packing is done, it cuts off the oxygen supply to the microbes, due to which they are unable to survive, grow and multiply. So due to which the food product, it stays for longer duration and it can be kept easily available for longer duration. It also helps to reduce the loss of flavor due to the oxidation process. So we may observe the common practice in the case of biscuits, chips, nuts, mixtures or any other different types of food items which are sold in the market, which are vacuum packed. The next process is canning. Canning involves the cooking food and then sealing it in sterile cans or jars. Means in the jars or the cans in which it has to be stored, it should be sterilized. Means it should be free of the microbes. Otherwise, may we have cooked the food hygienically. If the cans or the jars, they are not sterilized, the microbes will grow there and they may spoil the food item. But as whenever they are opened, they are at risk of spoilage. So it is advised that within the specific time limit, whatever is mentioned upon the product, it should be consumed. Otherwise, it may cause deterioration. It may be spoiled by the action of microbes whenever the seal is broken. As well as one more point that we have to note it down, that many of the times we observe the cans or jars, they get damaged and they show puffing or enlargement, and the puffing or the enlargement, it clearly indicates that the food which has been stored within the jar has been spoiled, and such type of food products should not be consumed. It may cause food poisoning. So for example, in the case of creams, cold drinks or condensed milk, they are easily available in the market in the cans or jars in sterile cans or jars. Now the last step, the next ninth method, which is freezing. So freezing, what is freezing? So whenever the foods they are kept at low temperatures, it lets to change the chemical changes that helps so much reduced within it that the food product can be kept for longer duration. For example, we keep vegetables, fruits and certain other products inside the refrigerator, and due to which there are certain, we can say, changes that do takes place, or we may say the chemical changes gets reduced, due to which it doesn't ripes easily, and also it can be kept it for longer duration. One more thing we have to note it down, microorganisms, they are more resistant to cold than to heat, means they are able to survive in the colder conditions as compared to the hotter conditions. So whenever we are storing within the refrigerator, may the chances are there certain types of microbes may still survive within the colder condition. But although some are killed by freezing, but most bacterial spores and a large number of organisms survive and get revitalized when the food is thawed or unfrozen. So suppose when we have kept an food product within the refrigerator, and when we take it out from the refrigerator after certain time, and if we will left it unattended and we do not consume it, what may be the case that whenever it is unfrozen, then those spores or the bacterial spores, they may again revive, they may again revitalized, and they may cause the spoilage of food product. So till so far we have discussed about the different types of methods of food preservation technique. Thank you. Have a nice day.